so far in this series that maybe you didn't know going into it?
I don't think. I think if anything, it's exactly what I thought it would be. You're playing the President's Trophy winning team, the best team in the regular season, the best defensive team in the regular season. They also scored a lot of goals. I mean, their analytics were very good on both ends of the puck. Top 5, I think, in both areas. So, we've gotten exactly what we expected to get, and so that's why I don't think there's any surprise we're in the spot we're in, and excited about a chance to win this at home in Game 6.
You said Colorado might take overtime in Game 7 before the series, I think, even started. Is that kind of how you felt going into this one as well?
Yeah, it might be. I mean, listen, this team was I don't know how many, maybe 14 points better than Colorado was during the regular season. So, yeah, I mean, it might take that long. Doesn't matter. You just got to keep moving forward.
Scott O'Neill said after the game last night that he didn't understand why they were shorthanded after the altercation with Benn and Scheifele. Obviously, Benn's been fined after, but were you kind of surprised how that's shaken out, both with the penalties and the fine today?
I don't understand how we've been shorthanded a lot of times in the playoffs. Jamie Benn can afford the fine.
In fact, you lead the league with shorthanded. Is that something you've given up 43, but you've been good against it, but is that something you still need to work on?
Well, we got to work on it, but, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you're the least penalized team in the league all season, I mean, we haven't changed our style of play. So, but we'll have to work within what's being called.
Do you like the emotion that's getting ramped up, and do you have to navigate it as a coach or?
No, I think that's normal. I mean, that hatred grows in a series as the games go on, and the deeper you get in the playoffs, and there's a lot at stake, and I think that's the beauty of hockey. That's what separates it from a lot of other sports is that physical emotion that the guys play with at this time of year.
How much do those Game 3 and 4 wins help you tomorrow night?
Yeah, big time. I mean, listen, we our home rink is a big advantage for us. Our home crowd's a big advantage for us. It has been my entire time here. We have to approach this like a Game 7, even though we have the luxury of it not being a Game 7, and make sure that we know they're going to be there, the fans are going to be there, that environment's going to be there. We got to take advantage of that.
First goal is obviously always important, but it feels like specifically with these two teams, it's huge. How big is that in these games? Well,
it's important because you got two teams that defend really well. Two elite goaltenders. So it's a lot easier to play in front. We were close to getting the first goal last night. I thought we got through the first period, which was key. Got some saves from Jake. Had a couple chances early in the second there that Hellebuck made a save, I think, on Harley on one, and maybe Duchesne, Johnson. Yeah, we had a couple chances there. That if we get that first one, maybe but it's important for sure.
How does that specifically for your group? How do you play when you take the lead?
Well, I don't think it's just our group. I think it's the sheer numbers show that playing with the lead helps, but there's no guarantee in that either. So we're going to come out and play and try and get the first goal. If we don't, we'll have to work off that.
Are you good with the way the minutes are going with the 11 and 7, or would you be likely to go back to 12 and 6?
You know what? I think it all depends. If we go to 12 and 6, we have to be comfortable that Miro, is going to play 20 plus minutes a night comfortably, and not just comfortably, but can he bring to the table what he brings to us with his skating and his transition and things at 20 plus minutes. And then what you have to weigh that against is that, is keeping the security of a 7th D there and loading up a couple of your bigger forwards, is offset by, adding in, obviously a depth forward or a penalty killer at this point. Those are the decisions we've got to make. But I don't mind how it's felt. I mean, we've done it 2 games. We've won one. We've lost one. I don't see our group being fatigued. I think Miro's gone from 15 to 18 minutes. We'll have to see how he feels tomorrow.
How did you like his performance? He looked better.
Yeah, he started to do what he does. He started to grab the puck and transition it up the ice and break down the other team's defense. Which is important in this series. Everybody's above everybody else, so you need that push from the back end, the Harleys, the Heiskanens, for them, Morrissey and some of their guys. That's a key piece.
How much of that is physical versus mental for him?
I think it's a little bit of both. For sure. He just got back and he was out a long time. So, but good signs from game 1 to game 2.
We talked about Mikko's just a different sort of player in a lot of ways. He played almost 25 minutes last night. Did he still seem effective to you? Even with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a little, he played 3 minutes with the goalie out at the end, which skews that number. He probably was on pace to play what he played the game before, which was 22, maybe in change, which, if you look back at his Colorado days, that's a Sunday walk in the park for him.
You guys have historically responded well after postseason losses. Why do you think that is? I've talked about this before. I think we have a real honesty to our group. They're not afraid of. They're willing to accept some hard coaching and some honest feedback on what we have to fix. They don't get offended by that, and they usually get it fixed for the next night. So it's on our group as coaches to kind of look through that tape, find out the things we did well and some of the things we want to fix, and make sure we message that tomorrow. And they're really good about implementing, some of the things that we're going to try and do.
Tyler Seguin hit a post last night.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple big goals in the first series. Is he one of those players, kind of like Duchesne, where you're seeing contributions in other ways, but you see a big goal from them?
Yeah, sure. We'd like to see a big goal, but there's not a lot of room out there in this series. You look at, it's a nothing game. We have an own goal go off our skate and a 5-on-3 goal. I mean, those are the goals that were scored last night, essentially. So there's not a lot of offense out there, and you gotta keep doing the little things, stay patient within the game, wait for a look. The nice thing is, we've got some guys in our team that they don't need a lot more than one look to stick one in the net. So, we need that.
2 super tight series, all the drama around players returning. You guys enjoying all this?
Yeah, I mean, you ride. Listen, there's nothing better than NHL playoff hockey. And especially when you're riding the right side of it. When you're on the wrong side of it, it's. I'm not going to lie. There's not a lot of enjoyment to it. It's there's some pain and some sleeplessness. But you also know that that next high moment is right around the corner, and that's what we've got to concentrate on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, guys.